Hi, I'm LaKeshia.
Hey, I'm Natalie.
And this is Life Cracks Us Up. My phone is on silent. Is yours?
My phone's always on silent.
Okay. All right, so here we go.
Action.
All right, so today what I would like to talk about is health issues. As you've stated numerous times, we are fabulous and 51.
Word up.
That's right, women of a certain age. But with some of those ages come some aches and pains. It's like I remember one time I talked to my primary care physician, and I was like, this is just not right. Why as we get older, things fall apart. I thought my body and I would come to an understanding after all these years. And I told him, I said, cavemen didn't go through all this. And he said, they didn't live that long either. So point taken. Taken.
Duly noted.
But I say that to say, girl, my hip hurts.
The first thing you said to me when I came in, you were looking at me from upstairs, because usually you meet me at the bottom of the stairs. We give our little hug and say, hey, girl. And you literally stayed at the top of the stairs. And I said, is there water up there? You were like, yeah, because I can't come back down. My hip hurts.
Said, where my hip's set up, I'm not coming down those stairs today. I'm not going to be able to do it.
Did you do something, or does your hip just hurt? Is it going to rain or something?
Probably, it could be. Yeah, it's like that. It's just I'm just so frustrated with the aches and the pains. And I must say, it doesn't help that I'm overweight. Okay, I've been working on my weight.
Overweight by whose standards? And I say that because, how when you go to the doctor and they talk about the BMI?
Yeah.
BMI is different for Black people than it is for white people.
Yeah, I know.
So whose standard are you judging yourself?
Everybody's standards. Everybody. I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there. Yeah. Because in the military, it's kind of like that. I realized it wasn't for everybody, but that was when I was trying to be like 125.
Right.
Like now I'm trying to be maybe 150. Okay. Once upon a time I lost some weight, and my heaviest had been like 175, and I got down. I was like, I never want to see 175 again. Girl, if I could see 175 today, I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy.
I'm hitting on 170 right now. Part of my weight is muscle, because I've done gymnastics pretty much my whole life up until my body got old. I always said I was going to try to do at least one back handspring a year until I turned 50, and I had to stop at 48. Ooh. That's when I did my last one. I recorded it, but my wrists won't support that bounce back. Now, I imagine if I had stayed in shape, I probably could have been able to do it. But I was like, you will not catch me on somebody's YouTube video at 49 being somebody's meme or somebody's something.
I was fell on your head.
Girl,
I can't even do a forward tuck. I mean, I don't know, tuck and roll. Like, I don't know none of that stuff. I don't know none of that.
So if you was on fire, you just go burn.
I'm just going to burn. Can't stop, drop, and roll.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
Because if I get down there, unless I can guarantee somebody can get me back up, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not.
All right. Well, whenever we go someplace, I'll make sure I have a bucket of water, just a little squirt gun.
You're right, because what I'm not about to do.
I'm gonna have to push you over to get you to roll.
I'm not going down on my own, player, because I know I'm not getting back up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh my gosh! And you don't even I know everybody's harder on themselves, right? Everybody's more critical of themselves, because I know that you want to lose weight, but when I look at you, I don't see obese or anything like that.
And you're right. People tell me that all the time, but
it's about how you feel.
Well, I always say that, one sure measurement of when it's time to make a change in your life is when your underwear don't fit. So I can squeeze in almost everything else, but
with the panties.
Well, that was like,
when I knew I had to lose weight, because at one point I had gotten decently heavy, but when I knew I had to lose weight, when I had to stand up to wipe my ass. If I couldn't just reach around on the toilet and wipe my ass, I had to stand up to get back there. And I was like,
"Oh, it's time to make a change."
Yeah, I had to cut the carbs and sugar out. Yeah, had to cut the carbs and sugar out.
I'm about there, because I just, my knees. Speaking of my knees,
those hurt
my
too.
My knees, my back, my hip, and and actually, my back, I have chronic back pain anyway. And I know one time I tried to wean myself of all these drugs they give me because I said my pill case looked like somebody's grandma.
Yeah.
Well, I am somebody's grandma, but the traditional
older,
grandma,
like,
not the 35-year-old grandma, but
that is the traditional grandma
now. The Big Mama.
Yes,
Big
Mama.
Mama.
I got you.
Okay, my pill case looked like Big Mama. And I was like, I'm tired of taking all these pills. So I tried to wean myself off of some of my meds.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you I was in constant pain
Yeah.
for a month.
Yeah.
I was like, never again.
Yeah.
But I really still want to stop taking all these pills. And I know the only possible way, I don't know if it's going to fix it, but it's to lose some of this weight, to get some of this weight off of me.
Have you tried like a pain management clinic?
Yeah, I've done all those things.
Oh, okay.
I've done all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm in the VA has this MOVE program. I'm supposed to start
love
this
your
week.
earrings.
Oh, well, thank you.
I
Again,
love those.
to distract from my fat face. But gotta use what I can.
I swear, this woman, everything comes back to that. Oh gosh.
But I'm trying to do right. But again, we know part of my problem is I love to bake. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I've been telling myself lately I'm going to start baking every week. But that means
you test your food.
I do, but I have to get it out of the house. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to find more people to give it to before I plan the bake. As a matter of fact, I'm baking today. I'm baking something today.
Yep.
But I have to. It's those competing desires. My desire to bake, my desire to continue to walk. You know,
right.
It's like it's a struggle.
Well, I feel you on the chronic back pain. I've had back pain like pretty much my whole life. I was in an accident when I turned 18, car accident, and I fractured my spine. So I also broke my right foot, 4 bones in my right foot. So I was on I had a cast on, I was on crutches, and I had on a back brace.
Goodness.
So luckily I had already established some semblance of popularity at that time, because had I not, I would have been, people would have been just pushing me over and doing dumb shit. But yeah, so I get you on the back pain. And jokes aside, like my back does act up when the weather is weird, or I don't have like any pins or screws or anything, but I literally have just pain on top of just having that pain. Being 51, your body just starts doing things differently. I don't care what your mind feels like. People are like, you're only as old as you feel. Well, I feel shit. Like my mind tells me I'm younger, but my body is like, bitch, you are 51. Right. Stop playing.
Stop. What? Okay. When I got up in the middle of the night last night, use the bathroom, because that's what we do. I was like, take it easy now. Don't throw nothing out.
Have you ever brushed your teeth, sneezed, and popped your back?
No.
What day? What was it? 3 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
3 weeks ago, when we were supposed to record, I had to call you like, yo, not even going to make it. I'm on all fours. Let me tell you what happened. So I was trying to get the screen out of my daughter's window so I could take it to Home Depot and have that one replicated. Why he wouldn't just let me take my own measurements? I kind of sort of felt offended. Like, are you trying to say that a woman can't measure her own damn windows? But anyway, and they made the shit a little too small. Let's not even get into that. But I was taking her screen out, so I was bent over. All right, you know what? Let's go back. So my left shoulder, apparently I have an impingement in my left shoulder. It's been going on. I've had this pain for the longest time. I have no idea what I did to make it hurt this bad. So my friend's been telling me, you need... I don't use my left hand for that. I use my right hand to hold it.
Okay.
But so my friend was like, oh, you need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. So finally I go to the doctor. They're like, yep, you have a shoulder impingement. So they start me on physical therapy. That's fine. So the shoulder's getting a little bit better, but I still have to baby the shoulder. So as I'm trying to get the screen out, because I'm babying this shoulder, right? So I'm kind of bent over, but apparently bent wrong. Girl, I went to pop that thing out, and I literally, like, you can feel your back pop.
Yes, you can.
Like, yes. So I'm bent over, and I'm hollering to my daughter, like, help me, because I know with this having happened before, I know that I immediately have to get upright. Because if I don't, I'm going to be stuck like that way. Right. So I'm telling her, like, help me. And she's like, what do I do? I'm like, you got to get me up. So finally we get me up. Girl, she helps me downstairs. I get on the couch where I can just lay flat. So flat, stuck like that. The whiz.
Oh, God.
Miss One. I digress.
Yes.
So now, because I've thrown my back, in order for me to get off the couch, I have to roll over to the floor, get my knees down first so I can sit upright, then use the couch as leverage to stand up. Well, in this instance, as I'm rolling to the floor, my knees are not cooperating and they're not moving fast enough. So I feel myself going down. So I take my right hand and I throw it down to catch myself.
Oh, gosh.
Sprained my fucking elbow.
Talk to me, baby. Converse with me now. We would love to hear what you have to say. I know we're not the only ones who finds life funny.
Call us at 757-504-4649.
So, what's on your mind? Does life crack you up like it cracks us up? We want to hear about it.
So, I mean, I had to go to patient first the whole 9 for the elbow. So I have a shoulder impingement on the left side. My right elbow I can now straighten out.
Oh, gosh.
And the back was out.
Oh.
Thank you, 51.
Right.
Because this wasn't a problem at 35.
You just bounce all back.
Right.
Look, I know the back pain because that happened. Look, I guess I threw it out sleeping. I don't know. But I woke up. I woke up and realized I couldn't turn over in the bed. So I'm laying there talking to myself like, I ain't no punk. I can do this. I can just to turn over on my side.
Oh, that is some old shit for real.
That's sad.
To throw your back in your sleep.
Oh, God.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I didn't even do it.
You're not even
They asked you,
doing
what did you
anything.
do?
Yeah.
Lived. I woke up.
Right.
I
got out of bed.
I tried to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. But you know, that brings to another thing too, is that okay, you talk about Black women. I also got high blood pressure. You know, okay.
I'm sure we're gonna touch on our pressure and cholesterol.
But I think that there should be a rule that it should be one illness per person.
Work up.
I think I'm starting to sign a petition because I don't need all of these things. You know, I'm not trying to be selfish.
Right.
You know, it's like I don't need the back pain, the knee pain, the elbow pain, the high blood pressure. You know, I don't need all of that.
Right.
And it's just not right.
Share the love.
Right.
Share the love. Ain't nothing wrong with her over there.
Right.
Shit, give her the cholesterol.
I tell you, I like, shoot, I'm telling you, girl, that just bothers me.
I'll give people a choice. Listen, this is what I got.
Yeah, right. Pick one.
Which one of these you want?
Right. Yep. You take what you want. That's right. I'm not trying to be greedy.
Share the love. That's what I would say.
Share it.
I think if you had to pick like your worst, like what's your worst? Like, you know your back's going to go out at some point. You know that, your
my knee,
blood pressure is high. Your knee, right?
My daughter's talking about that trick knee I got. Telling you, it's so bad that, I actually have a cane. And I know when I first got it, I was really embarrassed to use it because, I don't, like I said, I don't look overweight. Right. I don't look old, as a matter of fact. I was out with my child this past weekend and they thought we were sisters. Like, for real?
Word up.
But I brought my cane in the house. I was like, just in case. Because I told my husband we should have had a rancher.
Listen.
I was like, I looked at this house, I remember, and I loved it. And I looked up the stairs and like,
it looked like they just kept on going.
Up into the heavens. It's like, because I don't know. Well, okay. I guess I need to come back and bring it down a little bit. Quite a few years ago, I was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I don't talk about it because I feel if I don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. But, walking is one of the things that could become an issue. Mm-hmm. So when we decided to buy a house, I'm thinking like, I don't know how much longer, if it's going to happen to me that I can't. Because I found out after we moved in that the lady who used to live next door had MS, and she wasn't able to move around a lot.
What do you mean, your old place?
No, here, but I never really met her.
I was gonna say, did she give you MS?
You know what? It was contagious. You know what? I don't know. I wouldn't have moved in.
Right, I was gonna go knock on her door.
But no, I never did met her. Yeah, right. I didn't ask. Keep that one. But I never met her. But I mean, I thought about that. It's like, should I get a house like this? Is this going to be my forever home? Am I going to be able to go up and down the stairs forever? Right. So when I have my knee issue sometimes and I can't move around a lot, it really bothers me because I think, what is the future going to look like this, health-wise?
Right.
And that's even part of the reason that I need to do better with the things that I can control. Mm-hmm. because
So
of
that when it
some of the
comes
things
time
that
to
right, some of the
address
things that I
you
can't control.
Yeah, I
Because I
get
know,
that.
because I only started taking my meds because I like my husband. You know, I just thought
I
it might be selfish of him to take care of me when it's something I could have done for myself.
Right.
Because when I first got diagnosed, you know, I overanalyzed everything. So I was studying up all the possible treatments.
I do remember that.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I know they hated to see me coming because I got my list of all.
But I mean, that's the way it should be, though. That's the way it should be.
But
people don't ask enough questions.
Yeah.
That's not. MS is not a shoulder impingement. You see what I'm saying? This eventually, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do and get rid of this. You should be asking a trillion questions.
But it was a lot. It was a lot.
And
girl, when I looked at every drug, and it was so crazy because the first oral medication had come out.
You said oral.
You didn't know what? You're so bad. The first oral medication came out like the week before I was diagnosed with something, and I don't like new stuff. It's like, I don't know, I always say, like, you know, in a few months from now, you're like, if you or a loved one have ever, you know, side effects include a third eye. And I was like, I just can't do it.
That's how I feel about the COVID vaccine.
Right.
I went and got it.
We
But
do
I
it.
swear, every time I cough, I'm like, that goddamn vaccine.
You know, it's like, it's like everybody else gonna die off, like, because y'all had the vaccine. But I was like, I'm really nervous about new stuff. So I chose an injection. First of all, an injection.
I remember that.
It was every day injection. That's what's wrong with my head. I was like, but the stats on it were the best.
We're proven.
Right.
You knew about it.
So I did that for a while. And then I got that burnout. I was like, I like people who have to do insulin or whatever. I used to always say I couldn't imagine doing that. But I was sticking myself every day until I had needle fatigue.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. So then I changed to another drug that did it like every other day or something like that. So it took me quite a few years before I would go to an oral medication. I know you like that word. Before I would go to a pill. But I do admit I like it a lot better because, like I said before, if I don't think about it, it's like it's not there.
Right.
So I just add that to my other Big Mama pills. So I don't think about it anymore. But it is still there in the back of my mind. That's another thing that I have to contend with. With, you know, all these other physical, these health struggles and issues that I have.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. Well, they don't compare. My cholesterol being sky high. Actually, I've gotten it down. I've done better at getting it down. The medication helps. But with my family history of heart disease, heart failure, strokes, I don't play around with that. Like I wasn't helping myself because I ate a bowl of ice cream every night before I went to bed. No exaggeration. Every night before I went to bed, I had a bowl or a cup of ice cream.
Wow.
Immediately upon cutting that out, my numbers changed a little bit. The red meat, I kind of, started going more towards turkey and chicken. But I still eat a steak and I'll still eat a burger, but I'll probably have a turkey burger before I have a beef burger. But my cholesterol numbers, my doctor told me at one point before I actually decided to do the medication, he was like, so I'm going to give you two options here. He said, you can handle this yourself and get your numbers down. He said, or you can take something to help you with it. He said, because if you don't do one or the other, you're going to die.
Oh, okay. Well, no sugarcoating that.
Right. So I did kind of get it under control myself, but it was still high. So I take the medication every day in my pill box that sits next to my bed, and my cholesterol level it's better.
Well,
it's still slightly high, but I kind of sort of think that's just my genetic makeup.
Yeah, because part of it is, some things you can't.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too, is like people look at people and assume a certain thing. Like if you're overweight, they assume you have high blood pressure or whatever.
Or diabetes.
Or all of that. It's not necessarily, or you could be, look like you look fine. Nothing could possibly be wrong with you. But yeah, so you just never know what somebody is really going through with their makeup. So it's not good to just assume one thing or other. But it's funny about you talk about cholesterol as your issue, and I'm not into all of these numbers or what means, but I'm telling you, whenever I go and do like panels or whatever for the blood work, they always like, oh, your cholesterol is so good. It's like, is that a black thing? Like it's supposed to be bad? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Were you expecting it to be in the 300s?
People get so excited about my cholesterol. I don't even know what the numbers are, but I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, But I don't know. Now, how much is it fried food? Because I mean, that's what in my mind I think cholesterol.
A lot
fried.
of it is.
Okay, because I don't fry because
Mhm.
well, for one, I can't cook, but for two,
I do love my air fryer now. I
Okay.
tend to use that more than I use oil. There are some things that just need the oil. I don't care what you say. I'm not putting my whitings in the air fryer. That's going in some grease.
okay.
That's going in some grease. But chicken, for me, I don't, even when I make the girls hot wings, I do the wings in the air fryer. Now, because my girls eat hot wings and could eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I have to make a lot. So it takes a long time because you can only fit like 10 to 12 in there at a time. But it's so much better than me putting them in the oil.
Okay.
So I use my air fryer for some things. Pork chops, I do in there. Still, sometimes I'll throw them in the grease. But if I'm going to quote unquote fry them, I'll air fry them before
And I just realized I own an air fryer. I should probably try it.
I'm gonna need you to give it a whirl.
Because I only use my oil for cakes.
Yeah.
Or donuts.
Or cookies.
Right.
Or
Well, because I usually, like I said, I don't fry. I put oil in the mix for the cake. But somebody wanted me to make some donuts or something. I was like, I gotta use oil for this. So I made donut. Oh no, I take that back. Back it up. Actually, I needed to make churros. Because my grandbaby,
I just got into those.
No way. My grandbaby was doing a
gosh.
Mexican meal, and I had to make desserts for him, so I made churros. So now I got this grease. It's like can't just use it one time. So then I had to make donuts.
So I'm gonna need you to let me know the next time you do the churro. Like I just got hip to those. Like
Really?
I knew what they were, but it never sparked joy in me to try. Yo, we were at Sam's Club one day. And they have them.
And they had the right ones because some of them are trash. Like you can, like some of these amusement parks or whatever you get, it was like that's not.
See, and because I don't know what a good one's supposed to taste like, for all I know, the Sam's Club, the one I had was trash.
Okay, I don't know,
but it tasted good to me.
Okay,
because that's the first. I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
like,
that's a good thing.
It was nice and doughy.
Yeah. Okay, light, nice and light.
Yes, like you could taste it wasn't just sugar. Like it wasn't just. It was good.
Feeling, see?
Yeah. So now whenever I go back, I get the.
Did you buy some, or you just eat them down the aisle?
No. I got one for me, one for my mom, and one for my youngest who was with me at the time.
Oh, so you buy them like I'm thinking
nice
I'm thinking like the samples or.
Oh no! I paid. No, I see what you're saying. No. I paid for it at the where they get that pizza's really good too.
Where's
hot dogs? Sam's Club.
Okay,
I've
just been into Sam's. I've been to Sam's Club, but now I know Costco. Their hot dogs. I like their hot dogs.
Are they like the big joints?
Well,
like
they're
sausagey.
No, they're hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
But the price has been the same forever. They say.
Yeah.
But I don't do Sam's Club. I just got a membership to BJ's as well. They got food in there.
You said BJ.
I can't with you. I cannot.
But I do want to try take a stroll through BJ's and Costco's. I don't feel like I need a membership to more than one. I would probably go from one to another if that were the case. But I've been with Sam's Club for so long. Matter of fact, I used to be on my best friend's Sam's Club membership, but she went and got married.
Oh, how dare she? Wait, she did not give her membership to him instead of you. Oh,
all of a sudden it's a family membership. I teach her about it all the time. I did that on purpose. I know she's gonna hear it. Like, yeah, but I used to have a membership.
So right now we're going to take a break. And you can like, share, follow, and subscribe.
But yeah, I don't know if I would do more than one.
Well, I only did it because when you get a coupon.
Yeah. I mean,
but I only do it for gas. I mean, I hardly ever go into these places anyway. I like the gas, and so it's a little cheaper.
A little bit.
And the cost that I save on the gas that I get, it pays for itself.
And that's what I like about Sam's Club, because I'm the Sam Club Plus or whatever.
Ooh.
So I pay a little bit more for my yearly membership, but I get cash back. So at the end of the year, I've got like $200-$300 that I use to spend,
in there.
Right. So I almost shop for free at the end of every year. I get a good cart full of stuff for free. Where were we?
Oh yeah, speaking of, maybe I need to go get some of those drugs at the because we're talking about health
from memory,
right? Because we got all off track. But I was thinking for my birthday this past year when I turned the 51, my daughter thought she was funny. She gave me this little, like a gift basket type thing. Mm-hmm. And what made me think of it now is because we're talking about going to Costco's or whatever. And I know they have like meds, these big bottles of stuff. Mm-hmm. That joker gave me some antacids. She gave me some multivitamins for 50 and over, some pain reliever, and I think I got Anacedophane and what's most called? The
ibuprofen.
Yeah, I think I got all of those Band-Aids. Oh, she thinks she's funny.
She hooked you
up. But I haven't been using that stuff. I didn't.
See? Yep. I need something for my memory.
Huh? What were we talking about?
Oh. Exactly, though. But I really, truly do. Sometimes, if not for my kids, I wouldn't remember anything. I have to tell them that I don't put stuff in my phone.
You tell the kids.
Yeah, because even if I put it in my phone, if it's not like right there in the moment, like let's just say I put something in there like, hey, don't forget, when you go to Newport News, do such and such. But if I can't schedule the exact time that has to happen, I'll put that on the silence.
Exactly. Because it has to be right there in my face. So you're right. I tell the kids too sometimes, but yeah, that's kind of how we started out today. When you got here, it's like my memory, and it's so frustrating. And again, with the MS, that's one of the things. It could be, but it could be the age. It could be the fact that I'm doing a lot right now, and it's crazy because I used to do nothing. It seems like, but now everything is going at this one time. Like we're doing the podcast finally, thank goodness. I'm working on my book, my second book.
Yay! Can't wait.
And I'm working on a program for the youth. So I'm
sorry. Did you
for
say
the youth? For the youth. For the youth. That's right. Yes, working on my program for the youth. So I've got a lot that I'm trying to accomplish, and my brain just stops.
Yeah.
It's constipated. It's like I knew something was on the way, and it just like I can't. And then I'm even more flustered because I know that I'm not remembering, and it is so bad. Like when you came here earlier, and it's like I'm trying to figure out how to tell you what you need. It's like I don't know. Just stop. Everything stop.
That's literally what I have to do. Let's just say I'm in the house and I'm doing something, and all of a sudden I'll lose my entire train of thought because I'm doing two things at once. I'm cooking. I'm trying to, my youngest is talking to me, asking me a question. My phone's ringing. So I literally have to stop in my tracks and okay, what are you trying to accomplish here?
Yes.
Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Oh my God.
What's most important in this moment? You have something on the stove. Go address the stove. You need to wait a second. I'll call whoever that is back. Like I literally have to stop myself from being in motion just to calm my brain down.
You just have to slow down in order to move forward.
Yes.
And that just feels so weird. But yeah, that's where I am now too. It's like that multitasking trash.
It's bullshit.
It is.
And not for nothing. I get the concept of multitasking. However, you don't actually accomplish anything to the best ability when you're multitasking.
Right.
I know jobs require that you multitask and all of that stuff, but you're not giving 100% to anything if you're multitasking. That's number one. But also this weekend, really there's no number two. Not sure why I said number one there.
You need that memory aid.
But that I need some vitamins or something. But just this weekend, we're both in Richmond for two separate things, which is funny. But I was with another best friend, and we're in the hotel room, we're keying and laughing, and I'm talking to her, and I got up and I went over to my bag, and I stopped, and I was like, what did I come here for? And she was like, I don't know.
You didn't tell me.
Right, because I didn't tell her. In my head, though, I knew what I was going over there for. But I lost focus that quickly because we were still conversating. So by the time I got to my bag, I had no idea what I went there for. So then I said, well, I'm just going to rifle through it. And maybe whatever it is, it'll pop up. And I'll be like, oh, that's what it didn't even work. Wow. So I had to go back to the bed. And then maybe 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, I know what I went over there for. So then I got up and made sure I didn't say anything. I went over there and got it. But
girl, that happened to me this weekend too. I was stuck on repeat. I was like, I got it. I lost it. I got it. I lost it.
Right.
It was like, because I picked up, that's the worst thing too. Is like when I pick up my phone, and what it was, I think I was going to go to Facebook in order to find something, whatever.
Mhm.
So I pick up the phone, and there's already some other type of alert on there. So I'm
So
just
now
gone.
you're
I'm there.
Yep.
So then I'm mad because I forgot. So I put it down again. It's like, oh, I remember. I pick it up. Something else gets.
Yep.
So have you ever seen that movie Up? I think we talked before.
Yeah.
And the dog talks and it's like squirrel. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like whatever's happening, all of a sudden it's squirrel.
Mhm.
Not just like, oh, I hate it because
Yep.
it feels like it takes me so much longer to get to wherever I was
Yeah.
trying to go
Yeah.
because I'm looking at here and there, and it's like all the shiny objects.
So
It's
easily
like,
distracted.
so
So
easily
easily distracted. That episode of Key and Peele, where there are so many things I can refer to, but Key and Peele, when they were in was it Germany? You know what? That's a bad example because I don't need anybody saying you shouldn't have said that. Next thing I know, I'm Whoopi Goldberg and apologizing to everybody. Let's go with Throw Mama from the Train. When they were riding and Danny DeVito, they were just, it was all chaotic and everything's going on. And Danny DeVito's like, how? And like that simple, how that's how my mind works. That's how my mind. If something, we can be having a whole conversation, but let something happen over there to my left that piques my interest. And I'm like,
done. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
And then I'm coming back like, what was I?
But and to say that too is like sometimes I'll like, let's say we were hanging out or whatever, and I get home and it's like, did I ever finish that conversation? It's like, did I just walk away? I don't remember it ending.
Yeah.
And I hate when that happens because I'm just so scatterbrained sometimes. Like, how did it end?
Do you ever have anybody, like, if you're telling somebody something, telling somebody a story, and you're like, yeah, you're all into it, and they're like, yeah, you told me.
Oh, right.
I'm like, I did?
No, you told me
They're
twice.
Like,
you told me.
like a day or so ago.
Right?
I'm like, for real?
Yeah.
Like, dang, I gotta do better.
I know.
I gotta do better. The other thing that I struggle with, not even just like memory wise, you were saying something about something before. You're like, yeah, well, you don't look. I think we were talking about weight or whatever, looking old or whatever it was. My vitiligo is spreading like freaking. What spreads quickly?
Wildfire. Well, I don't know. I never have. Well, the phrase is wildfire. I don't know if you should use that now though, but
I
but
know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Canada.
They're sorry. They're gonna apologize.
Yeah.
But I don't. I never had poison ivy. You have poison ivy?
I have had poison ivy. It's horrible.
It spreads.
It spreads quickly.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll go with poison ivy.
Yeah, but it started out with just a little tiny white spot in between my breasts. So I saw it and I just figured it was kind of like, oh, like a little sunspot or whatever. I'm like, okay, And next thing I know, I'm like, that's gotten it's gotten bigger. Then it's gotten bigger. So finally I went to the dermatologist, like, hey, what's going on here? Now, what he had me do was follow him into a bathroom that had no lights when you shut the door. So then he took like a what are those things? A black light. He took a black light over my spots. So when he came out, he was like, it's vitiligo. And I'm like, okay.
So when you go in the dark? Like, what is
kind of, I guess it gives off a certain, I mean, I couldn't see what he could see,
no
obviously.
Way.
Yeah, but that's how I was diagnosed. So he tells me, we start talking about is there a cure? Is there a treatment?
Yeah.
So he said, well, let me ask you this before I answer your question. If I were to tell you there's no cure, how would you how would you feel about that?
The world.
Mm-hmm. I said, well, I kind of roll with the punches. I said, if that were the case, that would be the case. Like, what am I going to do? Like,
yeah.
I said, I guess I would just have to live with that. I said, I would prefer it because at the time it was just on my chest. I said, I would prefer it not to be on my face, but if that's the case, then that's what it is. And he was like, okay. He was like, so thank you for an honest response because there's no cure. But he said the reason he asked me that question first is because if I had said something like I couldn't live like that, or there's no way I could deal with that, he would have helped get me into a program, which I thought was super dope.
Yeah, wow.
Because this is very life-changing. Like people look at me now out when I'm out for different reasons. It used to be, gosh, her titties are big, or you know what I mean, or like, oh, look
Yeah,
at her.
just she's so cute. Yeah, but yeah.
Now it's because I have two, white rings around both eyes, which is getting bigger. I've actually learned to apply makeup in a way that you can't really see it. And I say that I'm not so self-conscious about it that I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this. I do that because I prefer not to see it, not because I think it's the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? Not because I look at other people and say, oh my gosh, like, that doesn't look nice, or that's just nothing like that. I just prefer to cover my.
As long as you're right, it's you being comfortable with whatever your issues are, and that makes a difference as well. Because I know, like, and I, what you said about your doctor, how when you got your diagnosis, that reminded me of when I got mine.
Oh, I could punch that doctor in the face.
So what had happened was, like, that's how all my stories start. Well, I got up, I woke up one morning and realized I couldn't see very well. And, I'm thinking, okay, it's early, I got crust in my eyes or whatever. But as it progressed, like maybe a few days, I was like, something is really going on here. So I knew I didn't need an optometrist. I needed an ophthalmologist. So that's how, I really felt something serious going on. So I made an appointment with a doctor I hadn't seen before. And it just so happened she had come from some conference recently. So she's like, oh, I think I know what this is. They do all these crazy tests and everything. And I think she did come in and tell me, I think you have MS. I had no concept of what that was. But, so you have to sit in there and wait for them to do all this, get everything to go. She's like, I'm going to make you an appointment with a neurologist, and I'm going to get somebody to come out and give you some steroids and all that. So I'm sitting there like, what the world?
Overwhelmed.
So when other people, the nurses, whoever, come into the room for something, they look at me and like, oh, I'm so sorry. And, that happened more than once. While I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Right.
I am going to die. I'm all buried. I got my family mourning, all this going on in my head because I'm dying from this thing. I don't know what it is.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that was terrible. So your dude, I'm looking all like shocked that he said it like that. But I guess that was better, to have that conversation than to leave me sitting there in this room with these people who are so sorry for me as they walk through.
Right.
So yeah, that was too stressful. And then I said a neurologist, like, what's going on in my head? Like, I don't know. And then she said a nurse is going to come to your house tonight to hook you up with an IV that we're going to leave in your arm for like 3 days. And I'm like,
day one.
All of this.
No time to even go home and process it. Read up on it. What is this infliction? Nurses are coming in with the super sad face, the one tear rolling down their eye.
I'm so sorry. I'm telling you, they kept coming. I'm so sorry. What do I have? How long do I have? That's what kept going through my mind.
You're about to call and say bye to your daughter, and
it's over. It's over.
Yeah, there has to be some modicum of decorum. There has to be, you know what I mean? I would like to think that the nurses would know better.
You would think.
Than to just keep, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so sorry. Like, what? Yeah. Now, like you said, there is no cure for it either.
Right.
But I knew nothing while I was sitting there planning my funeral.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
I have not done like a whole bunch of research into vitiligo. I do know that, there are commercials for a certain drug that do not work for me. It did not work for me. I've tried it with 2 separate dermatologists, have prescribed it. That's their first go-to, which is fine. That does not work for me. So I don't know if is it infrared? I think it's infrared, some kind of info something. But I don't know if that will work, but that's my next appointment because you can see now it's on my hands, like my chest, it's like all over. But I'll try it. And again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm perfectly fine with that. But if I can find a way to get rid of it, I'll do it. But if I can't, I'm okay with it. That's the way I'll say it. But I haven't done like a whole bunch of research into it. A lot of things I've learned on my own. Stay out the sun. Because, I don't even have to be in the sun for very long. I keep sunscreen in my car because I have to apply it to these spots at all. There's no melanin here.
Oh, no.
I'm whiter than white people. There's no melanin. There's
Oh.
nothing to protect that skin from the sun. So I constantly, even before I put makeup on, I have to put a layer of sunscreen over my face, especially around my eyes, because it will burn
See, I
immediately.
had no idea.
Yep.
Wow.
One of my friends told me one time I looked like Neapolitan ice cream because part of my skin, like up on my shoulder, I had a tank top on. So the tank top blocked the sun.
Mhm.
So I had my brown skin, then I had a patch of white where the sunscreen, where the tank top blocked my vitiligo, but then I had the part that was exposed, so it was just pure pink.
Aww.
So I had brown, white, and pink. He told me I looked like Neapolitan ice cream.
Aww.
It did though.
Wow.
It did. Like if you blocked everything else
just show
out
that,
and just
like,
show that one part, it legit
Aw.
looked like Neapolitan ice cream. But I mean, I've gotten used to it. I just wish that people would be comfortable with people who don't look like them. Because kids, I kind of excuse children when they kind of stare at me if I don't have makeup on.
Mhm.
Because like I said, it's just around my eyes. It is kind of funny to see because it's just around my eyes on my face. Like I look like I have on makeup over top, on my eyelids, and it goes like underneath on. So kids, I get.
Yeah.
But when I have grown ass people staring at my, on my shoulders or on, I'm just like, really? That's what we're doing? You're ugly without it.
Oh, well.
You're ugly. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
Yeah, because you're right. Like people just, like I said before, you don't know what's going on with anybody.
Yeah.
Like I said, they could look like, you would expect somebody to look, but they could be raggedy inside,
Right.
all their insides falling out.
Right.
Just like
cirrhosis of the liver,
Right,
the kidneys are failing.
right, you don't know. So why judge somebody on what you can see physically? But
Yeah.
on the same token, I would say just because you can't see it, now that's something else too, is these invisible illnesses.
Mhm.
Like if I were to park, well, I don't have a handicap thing, which my daughter keeps saying you need to go get it. It's like, again, with that pride thing, it's like, I don't want to, but like people look at me and think, well, there's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
Because you see me standing there.
Right.
But like I remember one time I almost ran somebody over in the grocery store, and I forgot he said something crazy to me about moving so fast. But in my mind, that particular instant, I'm thinking I'm moving as fast as I can because tomorrow I might not be able to.
Right.
And so sometimes those things go on in my mind, and that's something that I'm dealing with on my own because I look fine today.
Yeah.
And even some days, I can't move the way I should. The part of the MS thing is it's a disruption of the spine brain signals or whatever. So it doesn't signal right. It doesn't signal things the way it should sometimes. So sometimes my emotions could be jerky or just painful or sometimes like non-existent. Like I'm just not going to try because it's not working out. I know it's not working.
Right.
And that's another thing too. It's like you don't think about, you take for granted your body.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. 1000%.
Like most people, when they get out of the bed, and get moving.
Right.
I have to.
They're not even stopping and thinking about the fact like, wow, I got up this morning and got out of the bed.
I'm thinking, okay, are my feet is it going to hold me up? So I stand before I think about stepping off.
Right.
As I sit up, I swing around. It's like I have to check in with my body before I try to move it. And it's like people take so much for granted.
That's so true.
This is like, like I said, I like to bake. And so sometimes my hands is like, I'm gonna need you to play along with me because I need to decorate this cake today. Or even my eyes. I've been having trouble with my eyes lately. Let me tell you, I'm feeling I have a superpower because my eyes have been really bothering me. I think I might have mentioned it one time before. My eyes are bothering me so bad, and I went to the VA. They couldn't find anything, and so I finally got a referral out to the community. And the lady starts off like, everything looks good. And I'm like, here we go again. Like, I know there's something. So then she tells me, well, first I told her, I was like, well, I went to WebMD.
Oh my gosh. I bet she was like, man, please leave. Go. Just go. Don't even go.
We don't want to hear what you have to say. And I told her, and I was like, it led me to think like cataracts based on my description. I was like, but they would have been able to see that, right? And she's like, well, yeah, and come to find out, I do have a little bit of it. But the way she explained this is like, it should be to the point that it's not bothering me yet type thing. Like, I'm thinking, how can I see it if you're telling me it's not, I shouldn't know it's there. I was like, so I got supersonic bad vision. Like, I don't know. But she's like, but it's not bad enough that we would risk doing surgery. And I said, I totally understand that. You know, it's a major inconvenience to me, but any surgery is risky.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it's just so minute. But I was like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
I see it.
That's super crazy.
I can see what you tell me I shouldn't be able to see, but I can't see what I'm supposed to see. See what I mean?
Like, that is so crazy.
I know.
You know, there's nothing worse than going to a doctor and telling that doctor something's wrong. And the doctor's like, yeah, I don't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
something's wrong. I don't know what it is because I'm
yeah.
not
and
a doctor.
Right, because you
So
don't
I'm
want
asking
something to be
you
wrong, but you want them to find out what it is. And it's because I understand completely, because my neurologist, my husband cannot stand. He went to one of my appointments, he can't stand them. And the problem is, again, I go to the VA, he's the only one,
Mm-hmm.
and he is just so overjoyed that I'm his most stable MS patient. I hear that every time. You're my most stable. And I'm thinking, I don't care about them. You know, it might sound, I don't care about them. You know, this is about me. And I'm telling you, I'm having a problem. You know, because like I said, every time I go with him, it's my memory. I got notes now, like to make sure I tell him about this.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, he'll do the MRI, but it's not showing that I'm progressively getting worse. But I'm telling you, I don't remember where I am right now. It's like, it's like I had turned my GPS on a lot to go places that I know. And I still, it happened quite a few months ago, but I don't remember where I was lost, because I was going from somewhere that I knew, how to get home. But at one point on my ride, I'm like, I don't know where I don't recognize any of this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep driving because I believe, and I think I even saw a street sign. And I was like, I know that street sign, but nothing looks familiar.
I'm going to have to put a tracker on your ass.
You should. You should.
We're going to have to try to get as many episodes recorded
before I get lost.
Before
I'm telling you, I put the GPS on and go everywhere. One time I drove to my mother's house.
With the GPS?
No, I was supposed to be at my daughter's.
Oh, shit. I was trying to just say, oh, you were kind of disoriented. Okay.
Totally at the wrong place. Totally at the wrong. And it's sometimes, and I hope my husband doesn't hear this, because sometimes it's like I don't want to be a burden on somebody else, and I don't want to make a big deal out of a lot of stuff, but sometimes it's so frustrating and depressing. Like, okay, go back to the medications. The medications,
it's a vicious circle.
Because
really
like they're quick to throw medications at you, and they know how this drug works for this thing, but then you got something else, like the drug made another thing,
another issue,
so they
that
give
you
you another drug
for.
So how do they know how all of these drugs work together? Because let me tell you, they say that MS can cause depression. So they give me medicine for MS that can cause depression. So I'm depressed that I got MS and I got to take these medicines. It's like, like, what? Everything affects something else. And
it's almost like you're doomed for the depression, because the MS can cause depression, but then they give you a medication that could cause depression.
Right.
So there's two ways that you're likely to be depressed.
So they don't know why I'm depressed, but just that I am depressed.
Just that you're depressed.
So give me another drug.
Right, exactly. So now you're taking a medication to counteract the depression
caused by the
medication gave you depression.
Exactly.
For.
See, again, back to the big mama drug case.
Yeah,
and it is
just keep buying cute earrings. Keep buying cute earrings. And
it's just it's a never-ending cycle.
It is, and I stand by. You think about the cancers and autism, and I know that these things existed before. There's no question about that. Some things just weren't diagnosed or they weren't recognized. But you will not tell me that all of the shit they put in our food does not contribute.
Oh, it does. 100%.
These kids are coming out.
You're telling me
C cups, pubes, and underarm hair, mustaches.
I'm 100%.
We've talked about this before. Like going to my daughter's school, and I'm like, yo, who is he here to pick up his kid? Why is he carrying a backpack?
Exactly, he is a student.
Yes,
with that mustache.
But even the kids,
she is as well with the big old boobs.
Yes, when you look at the kids. I mean, I've seen babies where I actually see a little line of hair above the top lip, like just the faintest. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're gonna have a mustache.
Yeah, it's definitely the food. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but I think that adds onto, you know, everything. Like it plays a part in everything.
You're right. One last thing. Let me tell you though.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about oh God, see the memory thing. It keeps slipping in and
You
it's slipping
forgot.
out. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Yo, this episode makes us sound so much older than we are.
Okay, I got it.
Go.
Okay. So we're talking about, you know, like I said, the cancers and these big illnesses out there.
Mhm.
So, you know, like I get my news from these late night comedy shows.
Yes.
So one of them, they were talking about how these scientists discovered something stupid, like how, I don't know, how ferrets can smell. I mean, it's just something really stupid
Mhm.
that they were spending this money on research for. And the dude was like, yeah, now that you got that cure for cancer, I'm sure now you can go focus on. But yeah, so you hear about these things that they waste time, energy, money on
Yeah.
trying to, the scientists try to figure out, but they got real stuff over here.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't care if a ferret has hair in the inside of the butt. Like I
Right,
wish I could
right,
remember one of those
right.
specific things. Sounds like
Yeah.
that is the dumbest stuff
Yeah.
they're doing. Or they're sending porn out of space. You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I
dude,
mean,
I need help.
yeah.
I need help. Forget
Yeah.
all that foolishness. I'm gonna need you to find a cure. But the money isn't in the cure.
The money's in the medicine.
And it's-
You literally see. That's why me and you. That's why this me and you. We should one day when all else fails and the whole world falls apart. We're gonna be a couple because we share the same brain at times.
We do.
But I was literally waiting for you, you know, to finish your thought because I was gonna say that as well. They're not gonna cure shit. Chris Rock said it in one of his comedy. Was it Bigger and Blacker? Don't Kill a Messenger. Bigger and Blacker it might have been.
You know, I don't remember. I can't help you.
But he literally said the same thing, and I've always been in
Mhm.
agreement. They're not going to cure shit.
Mm-mm.
The money is in the comeback,
Mhm.
not in the cure. It's in the comeback. So they're always going to make shit so you can live with it.
Mhm.
I hope I'm not going to get in trouble because I am legit quoting him verbatim.
Oh, but it's real.
But it's
but
true.
you know that's one
It's
thing I
true.
like about him is that he talks real stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he can get you to laugh at it, but that's real stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is. Because every time I go, I swear they're like, "Well, take this drug." I'm like, well, you got any other options for me?
Right.
Because I cannot take another drug. I'm so sick of
Yeah.
this crap.
Yeah. Everything is take this pill.
Take this pill.
And then what he said something about they'll make it so you need it.
Mhm.
Do you have an arm? Then you need this. Do you wake up in the morning and
You
go to
need
bed
this.
at night?
You
Do
need
you
this.
eat food? Yeah, then
Yeah.
you need this pill. You need this drug. And it's so true.
It is.
And when you look at the opioid crisis
Mhm.
and how easily how easy it is for doctors just for everything. Here, Percocet. Here, Oxy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yo, like I don't need that. I got some stuff at home.
Right, but no,
Here,
you
take it
this.
anyway.
Take this. I tell you what.
Take the prescription if you need it, fill it. What?
Well, you know, that's what I told you. It's like when he says, like, if you or a loved one. No, here we go. Here's one. If you or a loved one have ever experienced strife in your life and you just need a break, check out Life Cracks Us Up. Make you forget about all your
other
woes.
stuff.
Make
All
you
your
forget
other
about
stuff.
all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
Got anything else?
No. I would ask though, like, as you listen to our podcast, there are going to be things that come across your brain where you're like, oh my gosh, I wish they would talk about this, or oh my gosh, this would be funny. Send it in our comments, send it in our emails, put it on all of our little socials. We want to talk about what you want to hear, not just always the shit that makes us laugh. Send us some funny shit. Like, we'll talk about it and we'll all be one together.
We'll talk about you. Shoot, I don't care. But do what she said, because you know I won't remember to tell you again. So
Father God. Y'all have a great day.
until next time.
What's up, party people? This is the point in time where we need you to like, share, follow, and subscribe.